Welcome to the Practically Imperfect podcast. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Orson.
And this is our new podcast.
Yes, it is. First of all, I feel like, so I'm just going to get right into it. I feel like there's always, whenever you start something new, especially something new that's big in your life, I always feel like you experience some sort of stress right before or leading up or as you go into that new thing. And I feel like that's been happening to us tonight. And to give a little bit of context to what I'm talking about, we decided we wanted to do this podcast officially like a week ago. We've been talking about this on and off for ever since we were really married, honestly. Well, we should do some sort of podcast together.
And we tried. We actually did one.
We did, yeah.
A couple years ago. Yeah. It was a Bachelor recap podcast, which I wanted to start that up because I love listening and watching a couple Bachelor recap stuff. But the thing is, I just didn't think it worked out. We only recapped one season, I believe, because like Orson's not really that passionate about like Bachelorette, Bachelor, internet drama like I am. So I just feel like it just wasn't it. So we're trying again and trying something different, something that we're both really passionate about and both interested in, so we can both be really in this.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll get into a little bit about what I feel like I want to include in this podcast, and Lindsay will kind of get into what she wants to include in this as well. But really, it's going to be a lot about just kind of our life experiences. At least that's a lot of what I would be interested in talking about and listening to, honestly. And I feel like starting this is one of those things where it's like, okay, we're going to start something new, and then we experience that stress or that roadblock that gets in our way that makes us get frustrated, or it could end up in a fight between us or something like that. And that stress that has happened to us as we start this is our baby Scarlett, who is almost 8 months old. Mm-hmm. It's going to be like next week. 2 weeks from now, she'll be 8 months old. Anyways, crazy. But she's a perfect baby.
She's an angel.
The only thing that she doesn't do very well is sleep. But most of the time, we'll put her to bed at like 8, and then she'll sleep until like 12.
Yeah.
But like we won't have to really do a whole lot for her. But every now and then, she is really needy, and we have to keep going back up and putting her back to sleep like over and over and over again.
And she still sleeps in her bed, by the way. So we do co-sleep. That's also what we're doing as well.
It's like half and half. We have a bassinet right next to us.
Is it half and half or 60?
Whenever I do the night shift, she's in the bassinet until like 6:30 in the morning for the last hour.
Yeah. Well, anyway, she's a crappy sleeper. I don't know what we did wrong there, and she still sleeps. So anyway, like Orson was saying, she's very needy, and she also, for the most part, sleeps in our bed with us. So she likes being snuggled because we like snuggling her, and so
it's nice. I do like it.
Yeah, and I feel like when she isn't being snuggled or we're not there with her, she doesn't sleep as good. And right now, that is what's happening. It is only 11 p.m. and she's already needed to be fed. She's already needed to be snuggled yet again to bed, which isn't normal. But that's just what's happening tonight. Yeah, that's all right.
And for me, this whole week we've been kind of gung-ho about getting this thing started. Like this wall, if you're watching the video behind us, is black. Used to be white a few days ago, and we kind of made a split decision on, hey, let's paint it this color. We chose it that day, bought the paint that day, and painted it all like in the same day. And then we created the logo, and we came up with the name all within the span of a week.
3 days.
Yeah, less than a week, honestly. Yeah. And so it's all been a super quick process. And so in my head, leading up to all of this, I'm like excited about it, setting up all the lights and the cameras and everything like that, because that's what I do for a living. And so I kind of nerd out about that kind of stuff. But leading up to it, I had this expectation in my mind of, we're going to record our first episode. It's going to be amazing. And it just hasn't been that experience because we were trying to take the picture for the logo. And that wasn't going as well as we had hoped. Like, we did the practice photo. We had to redo it over and over again. And now as we try to record the actual podcast, it's the Scarlet keeps waking up and we have to keep going in and out. And it's just, it's for me, it's been like, oh, like, come on. But I always have to take a step back. And I say this a lot, but I have to put myself back into the gain, which is the perspective of being thankful for where we're at rather than measuring, or not measuring, but rather than looking at how everything is going wrong. I need to look at more of what's going good. And the fact that we can even record a podcast like this is a blessing. The fact that we even have a baby is a blessing.
Yes.
And I feel like so many of us get caught up in how things aren't turning out the way that we want them to or the way that we expected them to. And so then we tend to forget about all of the blessings that are actually happening. And that's been a huge thing, especially as we start to do this podcast, especially tonight, for me at least.
Yeah.
I don't know if Lindsay feels the same way, but
no, I feel the same way. But is she okay?
Yeah, she's fine.
So the monitor is also right next to us. Like I said, she is not a good sleeper. It's not very fun. Maybe
it's first parent. Like, we're our first parents.
Yes. Okay. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about who we are first. So, like I said, I'm Lindsay. This is Orson. We're married. We've been married for almost 5 years, coming up in a couple of months. We had Scarlett in January, so she's going to be 8 months old in just a few weeks. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we only have one child, and she is an angel baby except for her sleeping. Like, you would think that if she doesn't sleep very well, like, her naps during the day also suck. Like, we are lucky if they are an hour long. They're 15 to 20 minutes tops. Like, okay, not tops. 20 like minutes it's at least 20 minutes, which means you can put her down for a nap, you can eat your food, and then she's awake again.
Yeah, I feel like on average it's about 45 minutes on average.
Yeah, which I thought was like, oh, okay, that's like not too bad of a nap. And my mom was like, no, girl, she needs to be sleeping like 2 hours.
Granted, every baby's different.
I know, but anyway, you would think by a baby who doesn't really sleep well, she'd be like cranky, and no, she is the happiest baby. Like, let's say she takes a 20-minute nap where it's like, you put her down, you go downstairs to eat your food, and she's already awake. You go in, she is smiling. She's a really, really good baby, except for, yeah, sleeping is really rough. But anyway, so should we talk about Scarlett in this episode, or should we talk about us? Because we're starting to talk about her.
Well, I say let's go into a little bit, like, as far as this podcast goes, and this episode, we're going to kind of set the scene for what's going to be talked about. So from your perspective, what are the things what are the kind of conversations that you want to have? Do you want to bring on guests eventually? Do you want it just to be us?
So fun.
What do you envision this turning into?
I think that'd be super fun to have friends, family come in, talk to them about their stories, how we know each other, just like super fun vibes, chill vibes. Talk about, I know this sounds like dumb to say, but being like real and relatable, because this is why we decided to name it the Practically Imperfect Podcast, a play on word from Mary Poppins. Love Disney. Sorry, I'm a Disney adult as well, where Mary Poppins is practically perfect in every way. So that's where I was like, let's call it Practically Imperfect, because obviously no one's perfect. And I feel like a lot of the internet, social media is fake vibes. We're all guilty of it. But I think there are a lot of podcasts out there where they just share their lives, and they share the good, the bad, the ugly. And that's why people want to listen. They relate. I listen to literally so many podcasts. I do have a lot of time on my hands as well. So I work part-time, and then the other part-time I'm at home with Scarlett, and should I count how many podcasts I actively listen to every single week?
Sure.
I think it's at least 5.
It's a lot.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's probably 6. So that is a lot. That is probably, they're all over an hour long. So probably 12 hours of content a week, all different things, but a lot of them are like, they talk about their family, they talk about their kids, and it's nice to be like, wow, they are going through the same things as me, or how are they navigating being first-time parents, being young parents, because I'm about to be 25 in a couple of months. Orson's 25. We were both born in 99, so I think we're young parents. Obviously, there are way younger parents than us, like in their early 20s, teens even, but yeah, we're just navigating life just like everybody else. And I like talking, so I'm going to talk about it. And Orson likes talking too, even though he is more reserved when he talks and talks about something that he's interested in. He will talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I mean, as far as my perspective goes, as far as what I would want this to kind of turn into and what I see us talking about is really, so like a lot of life lessons that we learn, like Lindsay said, being young parents, being married young, and starting our lives together off in such such a manner. Honestly, sometimes maybe like honestly talking about being LDS and religion sometimes and kind of some of the struggles that we have or don't have with some of those topics, or uncomfortable conversations that Lindsay and I have that I feel like other people can relate to, because I know my goal in as far as what I feel called to this earth to do is to give people the tools that they need to create their own version of a dream life, and we're actively trying to create that for ourselves, and we're learning a lot of lessons that a lot of other people can benefit from. And so I want to be able to use this as an opportunity to kind of give an inside look about how we navigate some of the issues and the drawbacks or the setbacks that we face in our own life. But at the same time, we also talk about we also have these conversations where they're just kind of random. I'm like, dang, this would be kind of a fun conversation if we just recorded it. And an example of this is, like, there's this show coming out about Mormon swingers. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this. What's it called?
The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. That is all up in the internet right now. It hasn't even come out yet, and there's already so many members talking about it, so many just people in Utah in general. But I will be seated for that show. Anyway, so I was just talking about that with Orson.
Yeah, and like we talk about, like, we read some of the comments and then we have a conversation about what we think, and
I know this also is going to be like a fun podcast. It's not going to be like, oh, this is our lives, it's so hard, like, relate to us. Like, no, I'm here to have fun too.
That's not mostly about that. Like another thing.
Yeah. Well, that's what we said first. So.
Oh yeah, but like but like that's part of it, right? But right. I feel like a big portion of it too will just be kind of those fun conversations that we have on a regular basis, anyways. And another example that you were telling me about is how, like, tipping, that you're talking about tipping with your family,
tipping waiters and
how we tend to over tip quite a lot. And
we are not rich by any sort of the matter. I would consider myself, I mean, I think technically we're like low middle class, the very lowest of the middle class, but
it's like right now we have like
poor as well.
Like right now, like, we have debts and stuff, and it's like hard to just get to the point to where you can even pay the minimums with that. I feel like is being at the lower minimum class.
Right. But anyway, keep going. So I just didn't want you to say we tip really well. It's because we can tip really well. Or I mean, I guess
it's more so.
We can.
So it's like the way that I
choose to, but
yeah, we do.
I just wanted to preface: we're not millionaires who can just tip waiters $200 and not even bat an eye. Like, absolutely no.
No, it's like it's like a few dollars more than what 15% would be.
Yes.
And
people were calling us crazy.
Yeah. And it's like, so the mindset that I put behind that is like, well, I want to make a lot of money so I can give a lot of it away. Like, one thing I always tell Lindsay is I want to be able to buy, like, when a disaster comes through a town, I want to be able to buy a bunch of hotel rooms to house hundreds and hundreds of people in those hotel rooms and give them a place to stay. And you need a lot of money for that. And so, like, I want to serve with my money. I don't, and I want and I don't want to wait until I have a lot of money to do that. I want to try to do that now. And so the little ways that I can, like, if I donate, round up to the nearest cent, or round up to the nearest dollar, or round up to, or donate $2 to help dogs, or whatever it is. I try to always pay it forward in that way, just because in the back of my mind I'm always thinking, okay, my future self, he would do this. Why wait until I have all the money? Let's just do it now and get the good karma kind of thing.
Yeah. So anyway, the reason why he brought up tipping is because I was just having a conversation with my family, and because they're like, oh, tipping nowadays is so outrageous. Like, they do absolutely nothing for us, and they turn the iPad around and they ask for a 28% tip or something, which I agree is crazy. But of course, you should always tip your waiters and waitresses, because unfortunately they get paid like $2 an hour and they live off of tips. That's a whole other issue in itself. But anyway, so they were saying, one of my, okay, I don't want to put like my family on blast or anything, so I'm not going to use names, of course, but someone in my life was saying how she tipped a penny one time just to be petty, because that's how bad the service was. And I was just like, are you kidding? If they visibly spat in my food, I still wouldn't tip a penny, because obviously, no, I wouldn't. I would tip nothing, because that's insane. But if she just had an attitude, I would not. I would still tip them. I don't know why. It's just not in me. And she just, like I said, she just wanted to be petty because of how that waitress was treating her. So she was bragging about how she tipped a penny and she would do it again. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I was just explaining to my family how, okay, when we go out to dinner, we purposefully choose cheap places because we don't have money like that. So we like to go to this place. It's for pasta, and pasta's cheap. So honestly, between me and Orson, we spend less than $25 for two of us, and it's a sit-down restaurant. It's nicer. Like, we spend $25, sometimes even more, at like Chick-fil-A. So we like to go to this place a lot. So anyway, I was telling them how, if our bill is $20, we'll tip $10 just so our total can come out to $30, because that's still like a cheap date night. And everyone was like, oh, what? That's a 50% tip. And just saying, Lindsay, what are you guys doing? Like, no. I'm sure they were just trying to like say, you do not need to do that. That is way too much.
100%, yeah.
And I understand, like, yes, that is 50% of my bill, but I'm just like, I mean, who cares? The total's $30, and I'm sure that waiter was like, oh, nice. But at the end of the day, it was only $10. Like, I'm not going to lose sleep over $10 at this moment in my life. There was a moment in my life where I did lose sleep over $10, but right now, I won't. So I'll go ahead and do that. Sorry, that was kind of a tangent.
No, that's okay. I mean,
anyway, we need water. Next time we need water in here.
I have my water bottle downstairs and I forgot it. Anyways, yeah. I mean, I'm sure that conversation really isn't as dramatic as we're making it sound. But I feel like a lot of the time we're these random conversations that a lot of people have opinions on, and that's not necessarily to say that's one of them, but like, I guess I'll bring out like the church stuff. Like, I feel like,
so yeah, like I said, we live in Utah, and so Mormon, LDS, whatever, however you know it as, is very prominent in this town, in this state. Yeah,
and so it's talked about a lot, and there's a lot more talk recently, especially about people leaving the church and different things like that. And I don't know, there's a lot of opinions, I feel like, when it comes to this, and those are conversations that Stella, stop licking me. Go lay down.
That's our dog.
Yes. And so I find it interesting to talk about that kind of stuff, not because I am anti-Mormon or Jack Mormon or really anything like that. Like, I go to church. I have a temple recommend. I believe in the church, and I have a testimony of it, and I believe that it's true, and all that sort of things. But at the same time, I don't have the same opinions that a lot of the church members do have. Like, I also feel like I don't always feel the Spirit as strongly going to church as I do just walking outside or doing something else. Like, I feel like there's a lot of other ways to really connect with our Heavenly Father, and if some people leave the church because they feel a different way of connecting, like that, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
And there's other tangents and stuff that we can go on, and we don't need to get into them here, but
yeah,
there's
or not this episode, not here on this podcast, just here on this episode.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And I just feel like there's definitely other, like, there's some topics like that I find it interesting to kind of deep dive into and to talk about and share our opinions, because I know I'm someone that always likes to people please. I've always been someone like that. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I'm just like, like, if I really want to give people the tools that they need to create their own version of a dream life, I need to have my own opinions and be strong with them. And this is a good way to practice sharing what I believe and what
makes you happy.
Yeah.
Truly happy.
There's other people that feel the same way, and like, why not have Lindsay share her feelings and opinions regarding the church or any other topic for really that matter.
Yeah, any topic.
And same goes for me, but anyways. Yeah, I don't.
You also went on a tangent there.
I did.
That's okay.
That's
what a podcast is. Duh, talk shit.
Well, I feel like the more that we do this, though, the more we'll get better. And this is going to be an evolution of things. Right now we're planning on once a week.
I think we're going to try once a week. If that doesn't go well, then we'll do every other week. But I'm sure we can do once a week.
Yeah, I know I'm committed to this. Yeah. I know Lindsay's committed to it as well, and
yeah, it's gonna be so fun. I can't wait to get into our topics, but that is who we are. Yeah,
I've told Lindsay that I want this to be her baby. I want her to. I want this to make us money, and this is how she brings. Because right now she's working part time. I obviously don't want her to do that anymore, but hopefully we can get. The goal, I guess, is to get this point to the place to where you could quit and do this full time. I think that'd be cool. But there's no expectations.
Yeah, this is still super fun, and so many people have podcasts and do not make a penny, but they still do it because it's fun for them and it's therapeutic in a way. Even though me and Orson do go to therapy, so this is not our therapy. We still go.
This is just for fun.
This is for funsies.
I enjoy setting up the lights. I enjoy talking to you. And
yes. Can I say something that happened recently that I want to talk about just for a brief moment?
Sure.
So...
No idea what it's going to be.
Really? Because I don't know how to feel.
Oh.
So basically, when we're recording this, again, I do not even know when this podcast is going to start. Probably in September because it's the end of August. But yesterday, Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber announced...
That's what you want to talk about.
That they had their baby. And I just had to say something. So if this were to happen and I was 12, Orson, I would have been sobbing, had a mental breakdown, if that is the times we were in. That's how much I loved Justin Bieber. And I feel like so many people, maybe not... But I know some people in my life were that way. Like, I remember when Selena and Justin were first, officially announced. I think I'm pretty dang sure I cried because I was like, that should be me.
Oh, my gosh.
But now that I'm an adult, and he's also very much an adult, I'm like, wow, good for him. I'm a mom, he's a dad, but with different people. And you know what? That's okay. I also wanted to add that they named their child, it was also a son, because they never announced if it was a boy or a girl, Jack Blues Bieber, which I think is such a classy name, Jack. I love that name. And I think that celebrities nowadays name their children crazy things, so it's so refreshing to see a major celebrity like Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber just name their child Jack. I love it. Mm-hmm. I love that. Do you have opinions?
I have more opinions on the fact that you were a believer or whatever you called yourself.
Yes.
Like,
still am. We went to a Justin Bieber concert together,
yeah,
and you had a blast.
It was fun. I'm not saying it wasn't fun.
It was like,
but
the best night of my life.
But you were one of those crazy girls that, like, when Justin Bieber was super popular, you were one of those crazy
I
kids
legit thought we were getting married.
Yeah.
It's so weird when you put yourself back into that little child. I was convinced. I was like, oh, I'm going to meet him and he's just going to fall in love with me. Like, it was so like, oh yeah, that's going to happen. Like, we're for sure getting married. Like, duh. So crazy. And I'm not the only one who legit thought that, so.
Well, I guess I can't really talk a whole lot because I guess me and one of my best friends have a recorded video on Facebook where we are singing Boyfriend, and we are in 7th grade.
By Justin Bieber.
Yeah, and we're doing the dance and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So if I knew, like, if I knew that my actual future husband, you, the same age I was, like, fangirling, dying over Justin Bieber, that my now husband was dancing with his best friend on Facebook to Justin Bieber Boyfriend, I would be like, yes, that makes sense. So I love that for you, and I love that for me.
I mean, it's a funny video, for sure. It is.
I know. I love it so much. Anyway, so I just thought I'd bring that up because that's on my mind, and it's very popular. Literally, I don't know exactly. It had like 7 million likes by... It was a couple of hours, I swear, because I saw it, I liked it, I went back a couple hours later to check because everyone was talking about it. It had 7 million likes. I was like, oh, should I check right now? It's been like a day how many likes it has, because it has definitely broken the internet. Let's see.
It's good that he's not so... doesn't seem so crazy. I mean, he's looked homeless for the last couple of years, and... He went through that crazy phase.
18 million likes on Instagram.
It's cool to see that he's like a dad and
I know,
being
it's
private.
So fun.
Was there anything else that you wanted to bring up about that?
No. Is there anything else that you want to bring up on the first episode of Practically Imperfect?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I just wanted this to kind of be the intro of kind of what's to come. And I feel like we've covered that, honestly.
Yeah. I'm excited to record the next one.
Me too.
Great. High five.
Oh, that was a good one.
Thank you so much for listening, whoever
Scarlett's still asleep.
She is amazing. I wonder how long this podcast ended up being.
We got
Probably
through it.
like 30 minutes. I don't know, but it was a rough start for sure with Scarlett kept having to wake up. We've been trying to record this for a couple hours, I feel like, and and we finally were able to get through it all in one go in one piece. But if you made it this far and if you finished listening to our first episode, thank you so much.
Yeah, we appreciate you
That
guys.
is so sweet.
It's super nice.
And I hope you keep listening, and we'll keep posting on our Instagram, because if one topic kind of suits you more than the next, because there are also some podcasts that I listen to that I only listen to some of their content. If they do 2 podcasts a week, I'll only listen to 1 because it's catered to what I like to listen to more. So like I said, we'll be posting on our Instagram of what we'll be talking about that episode to see if that suits you, if you want to tune in.
And the handle is Practically Imperfect _pod.
No.
What did you do it as?
I don't remember. Practically _imperfect pod is our Instagram. And my Instagram, I think I'm going to change it.
You should.
It's been Linzie _Renee 11 since I first made it when I probably was 14, 13.
You should just do Linzie Wilkins, just like mine is Orson Wilkins.
Yeah, and it's available. I checked to see if Linzie Wilkins is available, and it totally is.
Yeah, you
so
should
I think I'm just going to change it to... So my Instagram is Linzie Wilkins, no caps, no underscore. What's yours?
Just Orson Wilkins.
Okay, great. Go follow us. Go follow the pod.
Yeah, but
Thanks
no,
again.
for real, guys, like, we appreciate it. Especially these first episodes are kind of rough as far as we're trying to find our voice. Yeah, kind of learning how to do all this sort of stuff. But we really do appreciate every single one of you that have tuned in and have yet to tune in. And if you have any topics that you feel like we should cover, let us know, please.
I'll literally talk about anything. That's probably a strength of mine, but also a very hard weakness that I am an open book.
I brought something up, and you're like, I don't know that I want to talk about that on the podcast.
We're not.
Could I just...
No.
What?
No.
Are you serious?
I said I'm an open book. I will talk about anything. That is very true. Once I get warmed up. This is the first episode. Come on now.
All right, fine.
All right.
Maybe I'll get it out of her later, guys.
All right. Thank you guys again for the 100,000th time. Let's end this. Okay. 1, 2, bye on 3.
Wait, what's going to be the normal ending? I guess the ending's going to change, but...
Yeah, the ending will change, but right now let's just end it.
What, like bye for now? Or how do we do it?
We're going to go like this. 1, 2, 3, bye. And you're going to say it like that. Like, bye. Right. Or we can just go, bye. Like, let's just say bye.
I thought I was
Don't be rude. You gotta say goodbye. 1, 2, 3, bye. No.
Oh.
Just say it normal. I was being funny. Say it normal.
All right.
1, 2, 3, bye.
Bye, guys.